Hello, everybody. It is Thursday. Wow, May 14th already. Can you believe it?
Crazy.
We have done a lot of series of community together, and we've had some questions, and we are a real estate group, and we thought it would be just great to talk to the community about real estate. There's been a lot of questions about real estate, and who better to bring you what's going on in real estate than the Lydia Gable Group. And I'm so lucky to have a few agents, rock star agents with us today. So let's welcome Jennifer, Jill, and Patrick, who are agents and rock stars with us. And I just thought it would be great to let's just kind of start with I'd love to just be conversational, but I'm really curious to when we started March 15th, which is really April, 2 months ago, what happened with stay in place? Like, what was the initial thinking as agents, as buyers, and then, what did it look like back March 15th? Jennifer, let's start with you. Welcome.
Thank you. Yeah, March, when it first happened, I think everybody was just in shock. I think, nobody knew what was happening. Nobody knew how long it would be. So at first, I think everybody was just, sort of frozen in place. But, eventually with all of the Zoom capabilities and everybody figuring out that they wanted to be productive and effective, we were able to get back online and do a lot of business done even virtually. That's kind of how we started doing business, is virtually. We would do virtual tours and virtual presentations. So, and it's just evolved from there.
Terrific. So what were buyers thinking? Jill, why don't we go? What were buyers thinking back on March 15th?
Well, I actually had a buyer in escrow on March 15th, and the beginning, it just kept going smooth. And then we just had to adjust. We had to make sure the inspector was good to come out that day. And he was. We were lucky. We had to make sure that the termite guy was available and was okay to come out. And we were lucky the home was vacant. So it was a little more flexible for us. But they were pretty fortunate. There were still calls coming in to show property, and we just had to keep up with the new forms, which did change daily, and protocol, between LA County and Ventura County, and we just had to kind of adjust and roll with it. And the buyers were pretty flexible. They were very understanding. They had to sign papers. At the beginning, a mask wasn't required, gloves weren't required. It was just kind of at your own assumption of risk, I guess. And then they've been very flexible so far as we've gone into this, knowing that there are rules now, and everyone's been helpful about it because the buyers are still out there and they want to buy.
So Patrick, Jill, welcome. Jill talked about rules. What rules have been put in place, in order to make real estate essential? We were non-essential and became essential, and both LA County and Ventura County. What kind of rules are in place to show property? What's changed between March 15th and now?
Well, a lot's changed, and we're actually learning new things every day in terms of what the BRE is kind of instilling for safety, while also promoting, of course, real estate sales. The funniest thing is that this is a historical event, and everyone wants to be a part of a historical event until they are in one. And that's kind of the case here. We have new showing forms and new advisories and disclosures to make sure that both sides of a potential transaction are aware of the risks, of course, of COVID, and kind of, limiting the exposure as much as possible. But that's just kind of one of the basic rules. And I know that on the listing side, they revised some forms too to make sure that everyone's protected and things like that too. But every week there seems to be a new rule, a new precaution, which is a good thing.
So what are the rules? Like if you want to show a property, like what should a buyer expect today? Any of you?
if you want to show a property, or if you want to see a property as the buyer, you need to expect that you'll bring a mask and perhaps gloves. They're usually touchless showings, which is for the protection of the sellers and the buyers. So usually, the doors will be open when we go in, and if there's any cabinets or closets, and the lights will be on. So you don't have to touch anything. And everybody goes in just 2 at a time. So there's definitely social distancing in place. There's usually sanitizer there, and it's actually gone really smoothly. I mean, you feel like there's plenty of space. The doors are open. There's lots of air. And the only thing that the buyers need to do is to sign a form that says they are not currently infected with coronavirus, or they haven't been tested in the last 7 days positive.
Are there buyers actually looking for properties right now?
It's amazing. There really are so many, right?
Right?
Yeah. I mean, I was just in a multiple offer situation on a great house in Dos Vientos, and there were 3 other offers, and the price just kept going up and up and up. I mean, it's people are really out there. They want to buy. They're ready to go.
So how do you consider that? What are you hearing as far as, unfortunately, we have a lot of unemployment and people are thinking prices are going to drop. Like, what are you hearing, or what are you telling your clients differently? Or why do you multiple offers. I mean, we have different news going on out there. So share away.
Well, I think we still have really low inventory, and there's more buyers than there are homes available to purchase. And the buyers were looking before COVID happened. That's maybe slowed it down a little bit because some sellers did choose to maybe temporarily go off the market. They're coming back on, but there still are not enough houses to go around. So they're out there. They're willing to be flexible. They're still looking. I think an interesting thing with the COVID is that now to go see a house, a lot more sellers want to make sure that these buyers are pre-approved before they go in, because they're going to open their home up, especially if they're living in it. And people have been very receptive. I mean, it's just new rules for a new time, and it's been going pretty smoothly for us.
Are loans getting done? What are you hearing about loans, Patrick?
Loans are getting done, and interestingly enough, just from talking to our lenders and things like that, loans like VA loans seem to be actually pretty secure because the government backs them and things like that. A couple of weeks ago, we learned that loans weren't being bought back from the Fed, which was interesting, but it looks like that's loosening up now. I have conversations literally every day with our lender about what's going on and things. Like, there's a lead that I'm working with that needs to have a work visa that would have not been approved back then, but might be approved now. So the lending rules are also kind of changing, and the lending kind of acceptance for approvals, I should say, for loans are also changing too. But they're getting approved and they're getting done. Jill's right also. From last year, there were 2,500 houses on the market today. This year, there's 1,700. So lower inventory, more buyers. And it's an incentive for the Fed to buy back loans and approve them because there are buyers out there. The rates are still relatively low. So it provides you, the market to keep going.
So Megan Selesky just joined us, another team member. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Where were you just now? What were you doing?
Yeah, so I was doing a showing over in Lang Ranch. I was actually doing a virtual showing, so I walked through the home and had my client on FaceTime, and we were able to check out the property together that way, and they are actually looking to purchase remotely.
That's interesting. So people are looking to buy potentially without even ever walking into the property. Could you imagine that a year ago?
That's crazy. I mean, they really are. You can just, you go through and you show them everything, and I actually had a deal like that too, where they bought and I had just gone through with FaceTime and showed them the whole house, and they felt like they got a good enough feel of it to be able to put in an offer.
I love it. I mean,
Yeah.
you guys are really thinking out of the box and really doing really what buyers wanting you to do, right? I mean, it's just kind of now once you get into escrow, a buyer needs to do their inspections. How are inspections getting done? Like who's going into houses today to like do inspections?
So I have my inspection scheduled for tomorrow, and
You have an
because of the
escrow.
new rule-
Congratulations.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's great. But yeah, tomorrow's my inspection period, and I had to get my entrance COVID form signed by all of them. Ironically, they were all available, which is interesting too. But based on what other agents are going through and things, it looks like inspections are going to just be the same. But we have to make sure that those forms are filled out and those COVID advisories are filled out beforehand.
So you're really not, are you having any problems getting inspectors or handyman or sewer inspections or chimney inspections or roofers coming out? Any issues there?
Honestly, no.
So business
No,
as usual.
everyone. It looks like business as usual, which is great news for everyone. And what's even better for inspectors and things is that they're also aware of these advisory entrance forms. Every one of my inspectors said, "Oh yeah, we know about that form. Send it over, and we'll see you. We'll see you on Friday." So that was a really good thing for me to hear as an agent for my clients and things. So.
And they're coming in, I mean, obviously CDC guidelines, right? Masks.
Always.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
You wearing a mask when you're showing property?
Always.
Every
Always.
time.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's a little bit of a difference to greet people, and that you can't see that you're smiling and, but I mean, everybody, this is what we have to get used to, I think, is just, this is going to be the case for a while. So everyone has the mask, everyone is out and able to have it. And, everyone's getting used to talking through it. So.
I love it. So
Yeah.
if you were a seller right now and you were thinking of selling, are you thinking as a seller, I'm nervous. I'm nervous about having people in my home. I'm nervous if there's actual buyers out there. What should I be thinking about if I was a seller thinking about putting my home on the market?
Well, if you want to sell, it is a great time to sell because, like we said, there's low inventory, record low inventory. A lot of buyers, qualified buyers out there who are looking for a house. So it's a
Absolutely.
great time. The flip side would be the seller's personal choice, how they feel about it, what their thoughts are on that. But everyone's following the guidelines, and if they're comfortable with that, it's a perfect time for them to come on the market.
Yeah.
What kind of things are we as a group putting in place for our sellers? Like what kind of photography or, what kind of things are available? If you want to limit showings, what are the options that a seller has today to make sure that the buyers could potentially see the property, drive by the property? What's available online to really limit showings if I'm a seller and I really don't want people in my house?
They have these great virtual tours. So it's actually like a 3D tour of the house, and you can go through, you can watch it online as a buyer, and you can see it goes through, it's like literally a camera that goes through the house, and you can actually have a very good sense of the floor plan and the layout. So I know that sellers who do not feel comfortable having people in their house have been able to use that. And I've talked to plenty of people that are like, oh, I got such a good idea about what that house looked like with the virtual tour, so that's a possibility.
Yeah, I mean the Matterport tour, and we have a couple examples. You actually can go in and you can measure how big a room is, right?
Yeah.
You've got the measuring. You can
It's
turn
awesome.
yourself around.
Yeah.
So that a buyer can really do a lot, which is why you can potentially, Megan, sell something without a buyer actually ever walking through the property, because the virtual tours are so livid, they're vivid today, right? So that's really good. What are you seeing as far as, I think we had a listing this week, if somebody wants to talk about lots of showings going on, right? How did we handle that we weren't going to get 50 people through at the same time? What kind of systems or processes are we using in place, to limit 2 people in a house at one time, because that's CDC guidelines.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody want to talk to what we're doing as far as that goes?
I didn't know if Megan wanted to.
Megan, you want to talk about how we're scheduling showings at our listings?
Yeah, sure. So blocking off a couple hours on a certain day, and having people book those time slots 15 minutes apart, so that there's time for everybody to come through and see what they need to see. And Lydia's been hosting most of them, so she's been there to answer any questions, which I think is very helpful, especially as a buyer's agent, having somebody there to answer those questions right on the spot. And so I think that just helps expedite the process as well. Having everybody have their PED form signed ahead of time, which is that form that Jennifer was talking about, making sure that you're not tested positive or have any symptoms of the virus. And obviously the mask, gloves, and booties.
Yep. We did that this week and it worked so well. People were and everybody knows now, everybody's aware of the fact that we don't want to have too many people in the house at the same time. So people are super respectful. They have their time slot, and, they arrive at that time, and then they wait for the people to finish in the house, and then they can go in. And it went super smoothly, really smoothly. People were really happy, and it's amazing what can be done with a little creativity.
We're problem solvers, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
We're really problem solvers, and you guys are doing an amazing job for your clients to really, whatever the client needs, you guys are figuring out how to do it. It sounds like to me, and the clients are just so appreciative. I know how much they love working with each one of you, and how much, you're really looking out for their best interest. Are you feeling as busy as you were January, February, March right now? Patrick said on March 15th, everything kind of stopped, right? We basically stopped, and 2 months later, we're still staying in place. But what kind of activity are you feeling in the market? What compared to January, February, March? Patrick.
So for me personally, and this is a question that I think all agents are asking themselves every single day since March 15th, right? Before March 15th, we were seeing a really active, really high-priced market with a lot of buyers, and listings were literally selling off the shelves. Since then, it's really a balancing act of pre-COVID clients and then, during COVID clients. What I've found recently is that the during COVID clients, at least in the last 3 weeks or so, have been super eager to go out and look, because they understand that there's not a lot of buyers out there also looking. So there's less competition, where a VA or an FHA loan borrower would possibly win out over a conventional, because they're a more secure loan. And again, there's less buyers out there. The balancing act now, however, is, what do we do with our clients that were ready to start looking in February? And what do we do with the clients that were looking in January, where now they're, maybe thinking about coming back in, maybe not. So when you have examples like Megan here, giving virtual tours and being able to buy and sell houses virtually and safely, that's, huge, right? A big concern about what's going on with this pandemic is how it affects the economy. And, any money is good money. Any movement is good movement. So it's really impressive to see how quickly the DRE and, all agents around, California, how quickly we've moved to adjust to answer that call to help, clients kind of whenever we had them. But recently it seems to be pretty busy, and whoever we're helping seem to be eager to look.
I totally agree.
Yeah, it's busy.
Jill?
It's been busy. I've been surprised. There's people, they know and they see those houses almost as fast as we do, I feel like, because they're calling and they're ready to go. So they're out there. I mean, there's buyers out there. We just need some more houses, but they're finding what they want, and it maybe is a little different procedure, but they're going into escrow and they're closing, and that's a good sign.
I mean, honestly, I mean, we know from Zillow that the number of people online are definitely increasing every day. We also know from showing time that the number of people entering houses are increasing every day. And people are still employed. Those that are employed are looking for houses, and they had plans, and they want to move on with their plans, is what it sounds like. And, you know, those who are thinking of selling or were planning on selling, it's still a time for them to start thinking about putting their homes on the market, because it is summertime, and people do want to get in before the school seasons. And you know, we're all hoping, you know, school will be in session.
God willing.
It will be in session, and those kids will be educated. And a lot of people, we come out here, and I think one of you had mentioned when we were talking, Conejo Valley used to be known for the schools. What are you seeing right now? Where are the buyers coming from? Where are you seeing the buyers coming from?
I mean, I have found a lot of them coming from Los Angeles, you know, just either West LA or the Valley. You know, it's a beautiful area, right? We still don't have, you know, the traffic that they do down there. We still have great public schools. I think everyone just feels like they want more space right now, just around, you know, and you feel spacious, and the air is clean. And so a lot of people are coming from there, but I've had people coming from Seattle. People are still, you know, changing jobs, and they need houses. So it's a good sign to me. It feels good that, you know, we're not completely stopped, and that, you know, people are still moving along and living their lives.
Anything you guys want to add in closing? I would say our clients are super lucky that you guys are active. I think working with active agents to really get a pulse on the market, super, super important. You guys all have a pulse on the market, and I know we have a couple other agents with us that aren't with us right now, but you're all busy, and you're all, you know, working virtually and following CDC guidelines. So any client out there is super lucky to be working with any one of you, and I, you know, love being part of your, you know, working with you side by side. Anything you want to share from a buyer standpoint or a seller standpoint as we end? I'm seeing a couple comments coming online. So at title, we got a couple title and home warranty people online, so we're happy with them. And you know, we definitely have our partners, and we couldn't do anything without, you know, our great home warranty partners and our great title partners. But it is a great market. So guys, anything you guys want to share, you know, to finish us off, and you know, anything you want to share on a buying standpoint? Megan, it's a free-for-all. So
yeah, I'd just love to say how impressed I've been with how the real estate industry has been able to shift towards so much more technology. And so sorry, there's a lot of activity going on behind me.
We're live.
I feel like I'm on channel like ABC News over here. But yeah, and even some of the agents who've been in the business for a long time are making that shift to technology, and it's just it's super impressive. And I think that that's something that I've been hearing a lot from my clients too, where and it'll definitely change the industry for the future.
I love that technology. We have to move with technology, and you know, you're a trendsetter out there with technology. And so I think, you know, technology is super important, and we're using it, and it's a great comment. Patrick, anything you want to add in closing?
Yeah, I mean, look, across the board, agents, home warranty, title, all of us, including our clients, we're all kind of in this together, literally and figuratively. And in that, we're all working towards how to make real estate as efficient as possible and as safe as possible. So, being in a systematic team like, ours is great because we can ebb and flow together and really figure it out for our clients. So that's good.
Yeah. And we couldn't do this without the people behind stage helping us, right? I mean, we are a team, and a team is so important right now. And having the administration support and the marketing support, we really, I would be like embarrassed if I didn't thank them publicly for all the work and effort that they've supported us, and we couldn't do that without them. So, Jill, anything you want to add at the end?
Just that, we're adjusting every day, and some of the things that came out of this may not have been what wasn't a good thing are good things for the real estate market. Virtual tours are probably going to stick around, and they're amazing to have, because sometimes you may just see pictures and think it's the one for you. And then you see a virtual tour and you realize it's not, and vice versa. The pictures may not really show you what you think you wanted, and that virtual tour could be the difference, and that that's the one to go see. So I think out of what, hasn't been a fun event to be involved in, some good things have come out of it. So I think they'll stick around.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree with that. I think technology and there's certain things like our Zoom meetings and our Zoom client meetings. I mean, why haven't we done them before? Right?
Yeah.
Jennifer, anything you want to add?
Yeah, just that, I'm super appreciative of everybody, the clients and everybody out there, just being accommodating to all of the changes that we've had to go through, and, that to put their trust in us, that, we're going to be conscious of safety and be conscious of their best interest from a both seller and buyer standpoint. That's obviously the most important thing for everybody, is just to keep everybody safe and healthy, but yet move along and, get everybody's needs, handled in a good way. So yeah, I think it's okay. I think it's good.
Yeah. I mean, I think I agree. I mean, and Jessica just posted the demand for California real estate will, COVID or not, that cannot be stopped. And, working with agents who are actively working and who were able to pivot and get into technology and understand the market and watch the numbers, which you guys are all doing. Hats off to all of you. And, again, you guys are awesome. I'm so lucky to be working side by side with each and every one of you, and your clients are so lucky to be working with you. And, anyone should reach out to any of you for any kind of information about the market. It's very neighborhood specific, but we're talking Conejo Valley in general. It's a wonderful time to be buying and selling. And it's not what anybody expected to hear, but we are seeing multiple offers. We're seeing, you guys are doing everything right, virtual and CDC guidelines, and it's important to get the right message out, and you guys are doing a phenomenal job. So thank you for being with me today.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having us. Thank you.
Thank you. And just stay on a second. They'll end the show, and we'll then we can end. So thank you so much again, and enjoy your day.
Thank you. You too.
Bye.